sleep train one baby, did not sleep train the second baby. In a society that is obsessed with changing baby's sleep patterns before they are developmentally ready. My child had learned to put herself to sleep without any force by us. Just surrender to the needs of your little one. Hey y'all, welcome to this little sit down chit chat video all centered around sleep training, or really lack thereof. So if you clicked on this video, you're probably desperate for sleep. You feel like a walking zombie. You feel like these days are never going to end. You're never going to get a decent night's sleep again, but I assure you, you will. This is coming from myself, who is only about a week out from where you are sitting right now if you are a very sleep deprived parent. So while this is all fresh on my mind, I wanted to film this video and just share with you how we got our daughter to sleep through the night without any formal sleep training. So I wish I could offer you a quick 5-day sleep training fix that works for every baby, but unfortunately I can't. I truly don't believe there's a quick fix for anything with little ones. They are changing and adapting so rapidly. Once you think you have one thing figured out, 5 days later they've changed and you have to figure everything else out again. So the same thing with sleep, and I just want to offer you some encouragement and a few tips in this video that might help you get through this really difficult time. So I know you are sleepy. I don't want to bore you with this video. I don't want you falling asleep on me. So I'm going to keep this video energetic, upbeat, to the point, concise, but really full of lots of useful information and some tips that you can start applying tonight to your child's sleep routine to hopefully get you on the quick end to getting a full night's of sleep again, or at least 3 or 4 hours. I remember just thinking, if I can just get 3 hours of consistent sleep, I will be able to function tomorrow. So I feel you. Stay tuned. I'm going to offer you some information in this video. If you're new here, I'd love for you to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button. I post new videos each week on motherhood content. I share weekly vlogs, bits of our home renovation, anything happening around this house get shared on this channel, and I'd love to have you join us on this journey. So before we jump into the tips, I want to share a short little letter that I've written to myself, kind of just things that I wish I could have told my first time mom self, coming from my current mom self, mom of 2, sleep trained 1 baby, did not sleep train the second baby. Just some things centered on sleep that I would offer advice to any new parent. So if you are a new parent, I hope you find this encouraging. If you want to skip on to the tips, I'll leave a timestamp right here. You can go ahead and jump on ahead, but I hope this letter offers you some encouragement. One day you'll realize all of the worry, anxiety, and stress over sleep was all for nothing. You will eventually surrender to your little one's needs and stop stressing over trying to get them to sleep independently. You will find much more joy in life after that surrender. Then all of a sudden you'll wake up one day and your baby will have slept through the night, and you will instantly miss those night cuddles and those little hands reaching for you throughout the night. I know it feels hard right now and you feel like you will never sleep again, but you will. Just surrender to the needs of your little one. You'll never regret holding your baby, cuddling with your baby, or nursing your baby to sleep. Trust me, you are not ruining or spoiling them. I'm sorry that you entered into parenthood in a society catering around making profit off of sleep training courses, because sleep training courses sell. And you'll even fall for one of those sleep training courses yourself. In a society that is obsessed with changing baby sleep patterns before they are developmentally ready, it just does not seem fair. One day you'll soon realize that making parenting decisions out of fear, worry, or compliance is not the route for you. Your baby is brilliant and will sleep on his or her own time in his or her own way. They are sensitive and need lots of comfort and closeness from me as their mama. What my baby does not need is to learn the feeling of abandonment. There is nothing wrong with my baby or me as a mother. My baby is perfect, and to them, I am perfect. So that is just some words of encouragement that I would wish I could send to myself in those first early days of life when I was sleep deprived and had no idea what to do. I was searching for answers, trying all the things, stressing over everything. So I hope that offered you some encouragement in that letter. Alright, so let's jump into the tips now, what you came to this video for. How can you get your baby to sleep better, sleep longer stretches, and eventually sleep through the night? Unfortunately, this is not going to be a quick fix, so I'm going to just share with you our story, some things that we did, and some tips that you can start applying today to help your baby sleep better. So I do have a previous video that I recorded when my daughter was 5 months old on why we are choosing not to sleep train. That is around the time that most pediatricians and all of the sleep courses recommend to start sleep training. And I just give you a little backstory on why we chose not to sleep train with my daughter and why we did sleep train with my son. If you don't know, I have a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old at this point of the recording. So you can find a little bit more about our backstory in that video. I'll have it linked in the description box below. To begin, when she was first born, she was in a bassinet actually right here beside our bed, and we laid her down at least once, maybe twice a day, and let her get familiar with her sleep space. So we weren't abandoning her, we weren't letting her cry it out, we weren't leaving her alone, we were just putting her to sleep and laying her down. And I do not believe that you can spoil a newborn baby. It's just physically not possible. But more or less, laying her down was more for mine and my husband's sanity. We need to be able to get that stuff done. We had a toddler and we needed to lay her down. So from the beginning, she was laying in her bassinet beside our bed in our bedroom for at least one nap a day, and then for at least a portion of the night. So that went well for the first 2 or 3 months. We were getting even 4 or 5 hour sleep stretches sometimes. So we were just really excited that maybe we were going to have a good sleeper, a much better sleeper than my son. And then the dreaded 4-month regression hit. So at that point, your baby becomes more developmentally aware of what's going on around them. They have synapses firing in their brain. They're just learning all kinds of new things. And they start to develop another stage of sleep cycles. So long story short, your baby's just more aware of what's going on. So anytime we came into the bedroom to get into bed, or if we had to get up and go to the bathroom, or if a dog moved, or just any commotion, our daughter was stirring and waking a lot more often. And at that point, we were just picking her up, rocking her back to sleep, nursing her back to sleep. And around this time is when we started a form of co-sleeping. So there may be a couple of hours through the night that she would co-sleep with us, just in between us. Safe co-sleeping, I'll link some articles down below on safe co-sleeping. But that was around 4 months. That's around the time that I recorded the previous no sleep training video and let you know a little bit of what was going on. So again, check that out if you want a little more information on what was going on around that time. We also, around the 4-month mark, transitioned her into this little side bedroom. Our home is under renovation, so that will eventually be a master bathroom, master closet. But right now, it's just an extra bedroom that's perfect for a nursery. So at 4 months, she moved into there, into a floor bed, and all was well. She was sleeping decent stretches. We were having to comfort her and put her back to sleep quite often, but nothing too crazy yet. I mean, we were getting at least 2-3 hour sleep stretches throughout the night, and then she would co-sleep with us from about 1 to 4, 1 to 5 a.m., and it was fine. And then around 8 months, things got really difficult. Around that time, I created a video centered around breastfeeding mamas and a letter that I would write to breastfeeding mamas, a letter I would write to myself. Confession, that letter was really written to myself. I was struggling big time during that time. I was so sleep deprived. My body was consistently numb and achy because I was having to sleep in one position all night on my side because my daughter was curled up with me for the majority of the night, like 11 p.m. till 5 or 6 a.m. when I had to transition her back into her room so I could get up and get ready for work. It was just a really difficult time, and that letter was actually really written to myself. I hope some of you got some encouragement out of it though, because it is a beautiful time, but it's also a really hard time. So I was struggling during that time. My boobs would be hurting when I woke up because my daughter had literally been attached to me for the entire night. My hips were sore, my shoulders were sore, my limbs were sore, everything was sore, everything was numb. No matter how much I stretched, I just couldn't get to feeling good, not to mention the lack of good, solid, good quality sleep. Up until then, we had no issues with sleeping. My husband and I had no problems with rocking her to sleep, nursing her to sleep, bouncing her to sleep. It was just, everything was working great. There was no issues for us as a family until around that 8.5 month mark. So just about 2 or 3 weeks ago is when we hit a breaking point. I was just desperate for sleep. I was in the shoes that many of you are in right now. You don't know how you can function throughout the day. You just about fall asleep on your commute to work. You just about fall asleep at work. You can barely make it through the day. You have no energy in the evening to play with your toddler and then start the night all over. And I became to even dread the nighttime. I loved the cuddles with my daughter in our bed when we co-slept, but it was just becoming an issue. And at that point, I went on to some of my favorite Instagram accounts. I'll have them linked down below. They are respectful baby sleep accounts. They're not centered on sleep training. They're more or less centered around respectful baby sleep, treating your baby respectfully as you would treat another adult. Put your husband in the position of your baby. So if your husband asked for a hug, cried out for a hug, you wouldn't tell them, no, stay in your bed, I'll be with you in a moment. You have 5 minutes to wait it out until I can come pick you up and give you a hug. If your husband longed for affection, you wouldn't tell him to wait a minute. You have 10 minutes until I can come back and pat you on the back and give you some affection. And we do that to our babies. Sleep training courses tell us to do that. I fell victim for those and tried and had so much anxiety around those sleep courses. So there's several accounts that I will link down below that have valuable information centered around baby sleep, and I turned to them. I've been following these accounts for months now, but at this time of desperation, I went back and just kind of wanted to read through and refresh and just give myself some encouragement because I was struggling, y'all. This was just 2 or 3 weeks ago, remember. One of the accounts, Taylor Kluik, I'll have her link down below, and I stumbled across something that Taylor mentioned. Her exact words were, "No sleep association is a bad sleep association unless it is not working for you as a parent." So we had been rocking our baby to sleep, we had been patting her to sleep, bouncing her to sleep, I had been nursing her to sleep. All of that was fine. The one thing that was not working for me as the mama any longer was co-sleeping. And it was really a sad realization because I loved the cuddles, I loved having her close to me, I loved her smell, her feel, her touch, but I was just at the point I was having so much trouble throughout the day just to even function. So that was when we decided that I needed to stop co-sleeping. We weren't going to do any sort of sleep training. My husband and I just agreed that we would stop co-sleeping. We would keep her in her bedroom, in her floor bed, and when she cried out, we would normally bring her into our bedroom and co-sleep. We would just go to her room, meet her needs, put her back to sleep, no matter how many times it took. And this first few days, it took a lot of times. No sleep training was about to happen. We were just going to change our perspective on how we put our daughter to sleep throughout the night. So I started taking some notes in my phone of how it was going. The first night, we put her to bed at 8. She woke up at 9:50. This was typical. She woke up again at 10:20, woke up again at 12:20, woke up again at 1:50, and then she actually slept until 6 o'clock. So all of those times, those late night times that she was waking up multiple times, was when she was used to being in the bed with me, co-sleeping, and just nursing all night, being attached to me. By the way, our daughter does not take a pacifier, so it wasn't like we could offer a pacifier in the place of my boob to help her comfort herself. So that's just been out of the question. She refuses a pacifier. Let me know in the comments if you have a baby that refuses a pacifier as well. Anyways, the first night was rough. The first 3 or 4 nights were rough. We were struggling, and multiple times my husband said, "Can you not just bring her back into the bed and let her sleep with you?" And I reminded him that we agreed upon the fact that we were going to break the habit. We were going to gently help her meet her needs in another way besides co-sleeping with me all night. And he really stepped up to the plate. I am so blessed to have a husband that has helped me with sleeping and our children, and stepped up and jumped in when I was almost too tired to walk. He would go up there, rock her to sleep, nurse her to sleep, sing her to sleep. So I'm so thankful for him. So if you have a husband who jumps in and helps you, thank him multiple times a day. It is a true blessing. And on the contrary, if your husband does not help you with sleeping babies, I've also had that happen, and you want to get frustrated at him, just remember he's helping you in other ways. They really do want to help you. Sometimes they truly don't hear the baby crying. We are wired by God to hear our babies cry, and they are not. So they may truly not hear the baby crying when you're getting frustrated at them and throwing pillows and telling them, "Get up, help me with the baby." They probably are not really hearing the baby. And sometimes they just don't know how to help. So don't jump on your husband if he's not on board for helping you with this. Maybe explain to him that you need some help, and they're probably more than willing to help. Just come to them with an open heart, an open mind, and a true need for help. Don't snap at them and jump at them. So those first few nights were rough when we were trying to break the habit of co-sleeping. So the times where she was used to co-sleeping with me, she was waking up much more often. My husband really went up there and helped a lot during those times, spending 20 or 30 minutes getting her back to sleep for her to only wake up 15 minutes later. So the first nights were rough, and we really thought we were going to have a month or 2 months of this because she was only 9 months old, and much research does suggest that sometimes babies won't sleep through the night until after a year or even later sometimes. So all of this is definitely going to be a family by family basis. What works for us may not exactly work for you. You may have a little adaptation of it, but I just wanted to share our story and maybe give you some encouragement and some insight. So by about the night 4, we put her down at 8:15, and my husband went and checked on her at 11 o'clock. She had not woken up. That was very rare for her to sleep from her bedtime until we went to bed at 10:30 or 11. We were usually having to put her back to sleep at least once, sometimes 2 or 3 times before we even went to bed. So we checked on her. She had kind of moved around her bed, which let us know that she had stirred, but was able to put herself back to sleep. It was just such an encouragement. And that was the first night that she actually slept from 8 to 4:45 in the morning, which was phenomenal. This had never happened. Again, remember, we had done no formal sleep training at this point. We were just shifting the perspective, going to her bedroom and meeting her needs instead of bringing her into our bed and meeting her needs that way. And then for the next couple of nights, that same scenario happened. We would put her to bed about 8 or 8:15. She would sleep through the night, through the time that we went to bed, all the way until 4:45 or 5 o'clock in the morning when I would go feed her when she woke up. Then by the 5th night, which was December 5th, just a couple of days ago, she slept the entire night. She slept from 8:15 when we put her down until 6 in the morning when I had to go wake her up and feed her so that I could finish getting ready for work because my boobs were hurting so badly. If you're a mama of a breastfeeding baby, you will know that feeling. And it was just life-changing. It was the greatest feeling. My child had learned to put herself to sleep without any force by us. She did it all on her own time. She did it independently. We did not let her cry it out any. There were several times that I considered it, but my conscience said, no, this is not for me. This is not for our family. Our baby is not gonna feel abandonment. We are gonna meet her needs where we are. And it truly has paid off. And I believe all of the groundwork we started from the beginning helped to get us to the point where we are today. So if you made it through this, thank you for listening to my story. I'm now gonna offer you 5 concise, practical tips on how to start helping your baby sleep better today. So tip number 1 is to lay the foundation early. Let your baby lay in their own bed, lay in their floor bed, lay in the bassinet, lay in the crib. Let them learn their sleep space and learn that this is a safe place and that they don't need to be held all the time for naps. However, if you want to hold your baby for naps as a newborn, you're not going to ruin them. Those are the best cuddles, and those are the memories and the days I never want to forget when I held my baby when she slept and got to baby wear her and just have her close to me all the time. You're not going to ruin your baby. But laying the foundation early, I do believe, helps. Tip number 2 is to offer them plenty of outdoor time, plenty of sunlight in the house. Learn day from night. That will help with their circadian clock and help them start to learn when nighttime is when it's dark and when daytime is when the sunshine is out, when I get to go outside and play, get fresh air. Being outside just helps us sleep better anyways. It helps me as an adult sleep better, getting fresh air into my lungs, onto my skin. Everyone in your family is going to sleep better if they get more time outside. Vice versa, make sure they have a dark sleeping environment. It doesn't have to be pitch black. We've had a darkish room with just curtains drawn. We've also had a blackout room. Any darkness helping your baby learn that as nighttime or nap time will help them to sleep and associate that with sleep. Y'all have heard this tip before. Tip number 3 is to help your baby learn to love their sleep space. So whether that be in a bassinet, in a crib, in a floor bed, in your bed, co-sleeping, letting them learn to love the space that they are sleeping in will really help them to learn that that is a safe place for them, that is a sound place for them, that is a comfortable place for them, and they can get some well-rested, deep sleep in that space. Giving them that space, that sense of ownership early on is going to just help them learn that that is their space, and they will learn to love it. Just like we as adults love our own beds. We love to come home from vacation and sleep in our own beds. I know I do, at least. Our babies are the same way. Tip number 4, I've said this a lot, but meet your baby where they are. You may have some really good nights of sleep, some really good weeks of sleep, and then all of a sudden your baby's right back to their old sleep habits or their wake up habits. And just don't get frustrated. Meet them where they are. They could be going through a developmental milestone such as learning to pull up, learning to crawl, learning to roll, learning to walk. They could be teething and they just need some extra comfort, and they need you to be there for them during that time. Don't abandon them during that time. Don't say, oh, well, you were sleeping last week. You can do what you did last week. Put yourself back to sleep. Meet their needs. Go to them. Comfort them. Let them know that you are not abandoning them during that time when they truly, really do need you. We as parents are truly the answer to everything our children needs. Daytime or nighttime, we are the answer. Go to your baby, be the answer for them, help them out. They are vulnerable and they need us. Going to your baby every time they need you is truly an act of selflessness and true love, because it is really hard to go to your baby every time thinking you're spoiling them, but you're not. It is an act of love. It is parenthood. It's what we signed up for though, right? And my 5th tip is to shift your perspective, shift your mindset, shift your perspective, your expectations around baby sleep. Our culture and our society today is so consumed with baby sleep. Everybody everywhere seems to be talking about baby sleep. Everybody asks other mamas, how's your baby sleeping? Is your baby sleeping in the night yet? Oh, my baby's sleeping in the night. Everybody wants to boast and brag if their baby is. They don't want to tell you the backside of how they got their baby to sleep in the night. Now, I will say some babies just magically sleep in the night, and you are blessed if you have that baby and you've had to literally do nothing to get them to do that. But neither one of my babies have been that way. So just shifting your mindset sounds like the easiest tip to apply, but it's honestly the hardest. Like I said, our culture is so consumed with this topic these days. Our pediatricians will push this on you. Sleep courses, sleep training experts will push this on you to sell courses and sell products. But shift your mindset. Let go of all of your expectations around baby sleep and just let your baby lead the way. They will sleep and they will develop at the time that is right for them. Oftentimes when we stress and have such anxiety around sleep, we actually create more sleep issues for our babies. They can sense the anxiety and the stress on us when we are around them, and that can sometimes cause them to have a negative association with sleep where they actually don't want to go to sleep. So shift your perspective, shift your mindset, let go of the stress, let go of the anxiety, just meet your baby where they are at. I can't say that enough. Meet your baby's needs, surrender to what they need. They will learn to sleep in their own time, in their own way. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Just know your baby is normal. Your baby waking up multiple times throughout the night is normal. Contrary to what our society tells us these days in this crazy era of sleep training and all the sleep courses that are coming at you from all directions on social media, your baby is normal. You don't have to fix any problems. You don't have to fix them. This is not your fault. It's actually quite normal. Babies were biologically wired to wake up multiple times throughout the night. It's a safety feature that's kind of just wired into them. Just like us as mothers, it is wired into us to hear our baby when they need us. Our babies are wired to call out when they need us. And I think it is our honor to go to them and meet their needs in this young, vulnerable stage of their lives. I hope you can get some helpful information from this, listening to my story and these 5 tips I've shared, and just know that you are doing what's best for your family, whether it be co-sleeping, letting them sleep in the crib, bassinet, floor bed, or even if you do choose to sleep train. There is no judgment if that is what works for your family and what you're comfortable with. Remember what I said earlier, there is no bad sleep association unless it is not working for you. So whatever is working for your family is best for your family. I hope you get a good night's sleep soon, whether it be tomorrow, tonight, in a few months. It will come, I promise. I'm coming out on the other side, giving you encouragement that those days are coming. Just push through, fight through. You will be fine. You will make it. It seems hopeless at times, but the end is near. I promise it gets better, and you will truly miss the days of your little baby cuddles. So thank y'all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!